Okay, so this particular start here is going to highlight the issues associated with where exactly is the diencephalon. Is it part of the forebrain? Is it part of the hindbrain? Midbrain? What part is it actually associated with? So this will be a part of the forebrain. The diencephalon is part of the forebrain. We're going to discuss the specific structures in it here in just a sec. And it's the most rostral part of the brain stem. Okay, so we're still part of the brain stem, but we're in the forebrain now. The telencephalon above it is the one that we're going to refer to here in the next video or two, and that will be all about the cerebrum. So the diencephalon, two major components that we're going to talk about it. The first is the thalamus. And the thalamus is a bilateral structure. It's a set of nuclei on both sides of the diencephalon, and there are many parts to it. There are several nuclei that make it up. It's just beneath the cerebral hemispheres. You can see all these different groups, and in particular, the two nuclei I really want you to know, one in particular is the lateral geniculate nucleus, that it's part of the thalamus. There's also a medial geniculate nucleus that we'll talk about as well a little bit, but the big one we'll talk about, especially in visual processing, is the lateral geniculate nucleus. Remember, it's part of the thalamus. And if you look through these descriptions, you'll understand that the thalamus is the major switching center of the brain. So we see here it's made up of 23 nuclei and 5 major functional groups. So this is where we are in the brain. See all the different patterns that are shown here. The thalamus is the gateway. It is the center for all sensory input: visual, auditory, somatosensory, special sensory, except smell. Smell is the only sense not sent to the thalamus. And what the thalamus is going to do is it's going to filter out that information that it doesn't consider important and that needs to be passed on to the cerebral cortex. And then that information that is important it will pass on. So you have to start to understand that one of the major functions of the thalamus is to filter, is to inhibit information being sent on. For instance, your heartbeat. You should easily be able to hear your heartbeat every time in the day, but it would drive you insane. And what happens is that sound, that noise from inside your body is stopped by the thalamus and does not get processed or understood by the brain. So we block that out. Okay, so it's the gateway. Filters the information, plays a key role in motor control by also acting as a relay between the cerebellum and cerebrum. Now, just posterior or below the thalamus is the hypothalamus. That's the second major region of the diencephalon. And the hypothalamus is our control seat for everything in the autonomic nervous system. It controls homeostasis. It's part of the control along with the nervous system, but the hypothalamus is our key to the homeostasis by the endocrine system, or the system that releases hormones. Okay, so it's going to have our thirst center, our hunger centers, our sex drive centers, our thermostat. It's going to have anything to do with maintenance of of a constant internal bodily environment. Also is the commander-in-chief for regulation of hormone secretion in the body. Of course, hormones have quite wide-ranging effects in the body. Lots more on those in Chapter 15, the first chapter of A&P 2. So, autonomic effects, thermoregulation, food and water intake, your circadian rhythms of wake and sleep cycles are handled here. This is where I actually did all my dissertation, is on a nucleus in hamsters found in the hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about it much more than that. And memory is also going to be associated with the hypothalamus. And finally, it's going to be a part of our emotional circuitry. We'll cover that a bit more when we get to the limbic system. So here are all our hypothalamic nuclei. Here's that suprachiasmatic nucleus, that itty bitty place. You can imagine how small it is in hamsters, yet I had to inject drugs specifically into that nucleus. It was quite interesting and technical work to do. But the rest of these all have to do with some aspect of homeostatic regulation. Finally, we see the anatomical locations for the hypothalamus in each of these shots. All right, onward and upward. We'll see you for the next video.